Welcome to the ultimate high-speed survival game. In today's explainer, we're diving right into the absolutely chaotic 2026 Moto3 Italian Grand Prix at Mugello. Now, you might already know who crossed the finish line first, but today we're going to unpack exactly how this race turned into one of the most insane, unforgettable scraps of the year. Let's get right into it.
So, who do you think can actually survive this kind of ultra-high-speed battle? I mean, Moto3 is always physically demanding, but Mugello? It's a whole different beast. It's totally unpredictable. With slipstreams crossing and riders packed together like sardines going into the corners, who were you rooting for before the lights went out? Because, man, the way this race actually unfolded was just wild.
All right, Section 1. Mugello GP starts, the chaos before the lights out. Okay, let's dive into this. Race day gave us some seriously hot, dry conditions. We're talking 28 degrees Celsius, which is about 82 Fahrenheit, with track temperatures soaring under the Italian sun. You just knew instantly this was going to be a grueling test of endurance. To really understand Mugello, you got to look at this massive number, 1.1 kilometers. Out of the entire 5.2-kilometer track, that is just a ridiculously long main straight. And in the lightweight Moto3 class, the slipstream is absolute king here. Riders are basically getting towed by the bike in front of them, which means the pack literally never breaks apart. It guarantees this tense survival of the fittest finish where no one can escape.
But wow, the drama actually kicked off before the race even started. Pole sitter David Almanza had to suddenly withdraw due to tonsillitis. Just brutal luck for him, right? But that handed Hakim Danish the absolute perfect opportunity to take the top spot on the grid. And let me tell you, that twist of fate totally scrabbled the early race dynamics.
Moving into Section 2, fierce race development, a constant rotation at the front. From the literal second the lights went out, we were looking at a massive 15-byte traffic jam. Because the slipstream effect is so powerful, literally no one could break away, leading to a constant high-speed scrap where the lead was changing hands almost every single lap.
Let's trace this chaos lap by lap. Hakim Danish nails the whole shot to take the early lead on lap 1. But by lap 4, you've got championship leader Maximo Quiles, who started way back in 14th, clawing his way up into the top 8 like an absolute machine. Then, fast forward to lap 13, and Eddie O'Shea surges to the very front. It was just a revolving door of race leaders.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer madness of the race. When Eddie O'Shea hit the front on lap 13, it was actually his first time ever leading a Moto3 race. Even though he got swallowed back up pretty quickly, it just shows you how wide open this scrap was. Literally anyone in that front pack had a legitimate shot at glory. Which brings us to Section 3, fateful final lap, survival of the fittest. As we get down to the wire, tires are cooked, riders are totally exhausted, and in a pack this tight, one tiny mistake means losing the whole shebang. The tension was absolutely through the roof as they crossed the line for the final laps. Then, disaster strikes on the penultimate lap. Championship leader Maximo Quiles suffers this massive, scary rear-end slide out of the final corner. I mean, he was literally bucked out of his seat. He somehow managed to save it from a crash, but it completely punted him out of the top 10 and instantly erased him from the podium fight.
Amid all that chaos, 17-year-old rookie Brian Uriarte was ice cold. His strategy was just brilliant. He bided his time perfectly, waiting for the final lap to strike. Then, he makes this incredibly decisive move at the tricky Casanova Savelli section. While everyone else was tripping over each other fighting for position behind him, Uriarte found the clear track he needed and just bolted.
And what a victory! Brian Uriarte crosses the line to claim his very first Moto3 Grand Prix win. Talk about insane composure. Plus, his teammate Alvaro Carpe was right there, just 0.418 seconds behind him, sealing a dream 1-2 finish for Red Bull KTM Ajo. To get your maiden win at a track this unforgiving, a real game-changer for his career.
All right, Section 4, Italian GP results, the final standings at Mugello. After all that final lap craziness, let's take a look at the hard data and see how the top 10 actually shook out.
So here's your top 7. You've got that dominant Red Bull KTM Ajo 1-2 with Uriarte and Carpe. But how about Hakim Danish in third? He capitalized on that surprise pole position, survived the absolute blender of position changes, and grabbed his first ever podium. And get this, the gap from first place all the way down to Adrian Fernandez in fourth was less than half a second. Classic Moto3. It was, however, a really tough day at the office for the Japanese riders.
Battling that grueling 28-degree heat, Ryusei Yamanaka crossed the line in 16th, just about 5.5 seconds off the lead, narrowly missing out on points. Zen Mitsuni had a mountain to climb, starting from the back and finished 22nd. It really just highlights how brutal the tire degradation and physical toll were out there.
Okay, moving on to our final section, Section 5, Point Rankings, the shifting power dynamics. This is where we see exactly how Mugello has shaken up the entire 2026 championship. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the gap to the leader. Sure, Maximo Quiles managed to salvage 5 points after that massive scare to keep his lead at 145 points. But look right beneath him. You've got these young, hungry rookies like Carpi and Uriarte hauling in huge points and rapidly closing that gap. They are breathing right down his neck.
Basically, the entire championship narrative is radically shifting. Earlier this season, it kind of felt like a one-man Quiles show, right? Well, not anymore. The power dynamics are shifting towards these rising stars, and as we head into the second half of the season with those explosive flyaway rounds in Motegi, Mandalika, and Sepang, man, we are in for a treat.
So, with these rookies gaining so much momentum, who do you think is ultimately going to seize the 2026 Moto3 Championship crown? Will the veteran hold on, or are we watching the birth of a completely new era? Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time for more deep dive racing analysis.